Hey guys, how you doing? Ask the Wizard, almost daily unplugged. I made a commitment to myself that I will do a Facebook Live of some type every day. A variety of reasons for that. But they're probably going to be like this, as I say, sort of unplugged, nothing fancy. I don't think there'll be any. Mr. Flipchart won't be here. Maybe Summit will be here, but I think a lot of them are just going to be this way. And I guess in a way, maybe it's almost my version of a journal, I suppose, as well. I'm just doing it this way because I believe that the content of all the stuff that I do will at least someday have value to it and be valuable. And I guess as much as anything, I don't know, chronicling this information, these thoughts, the inspirations I get and things like that, so that they will be here. And of course, as you know, everything exists forever on the internet, so they'll be here forever, even though I won't. I think I was probably 45, and I wrote a blog post. I've shared it a few times over the years. And so where the inspiration of it came from was, for those of you familiar with Central Alberta specifically, Red Deer specifically, the Tim Hortons that is downtown by where the old bus depot used to be. I had a vehicle, so I was in the drive-thru. Well, I remember the exact spot. I just placed my order, and then this, I was looking around at all the things that you're supposed to have when you're 45-ish or whatever it was, right? And I didn't have any of those, right? By then you're supposed to have your mortgage mostly paid off, or you're supposed to have the vehicles and the ATVs and the big screen TV, all the stuff, right? Didn't have any of that. And the other thing too is, also, I didn't have any of the physical issues that are supposed to show up when you're 45 and the body wears out. You know how that stuff goes on and on and on. I didn't have any of those either. And I find sometimes, not so much the latter, but the former, it's easy to look around and compare where you should be by where everyone else appears to be. And then the thought plunked into my head was, I'm over halfway. Now, what I mean by that is, and I believe it's, let's say 45, it had been really close to that. So I was thinking, okay, so in all likelihood, I won't live to be 90. Now, Mom made it to 95, so we'll see. But in all likelihood, I won't, I'm very confident. Well, I don't want to say that. I'm over the halfway point. So I'm closer to the end than I am the beginning. And it did two things, and this is what I kind of formalized in the blog post. It's almost like it took pressure off, because I think we spend so much time and energy trying to be what society, what others have decided we're supposed to be. And then we do the comparing game, of course, and then we try and catch up. And so I guess that's what the sort of the relief came from. Well, I mean, I'm closer to the end than I am the beginning, so there's kind of no point in trying to catch up. I'm just going to kind of coast on in, because, and that was the title for this, and I realize the math doesn't work, but work with me. In 30 years, I'll be dead anyway. So it almost took some pressure off. And then when I formalized it in the blog post, there was 2 points. And the first one was knowing that it effectively kind of continued back then to light the fire under my butt to do things, because before you know it, speaking to myself, you'll be dead. So those things, those ideas, those dreams, those whatever, those desires that I want to fulfill, get moving, because before you know it, you'll be dead. And I'm not trying to minimize that experience at all. But before you know it, I mean, we all know, I know we know people who have had all sorts of plans and dreams and different things like that. And they left their body before they got to experience them, right? And I didn't want to be one of those people. And then the second piece of it was, often I think the reason we don't take that step is because what if I make a mistake? What if I screw up? Right? You have to make all the right decisions, in life, because then it could, you could make these wrong decisions and on and on and on. And so it was kind of the same thing. It was, well, okay. Well, no matter how quote unquote badly I screw up, it's not forever, because before you know it, I'll be dead. And I was being facetious in saying that, but it's true when you think about it. So often the reason we don't take those steps is because what if it's the wrong ones? Maybe I'm not making the responsible steps. Maybe I'm not, whatever, on and on and on. And so I don't know who the quote come from, but it was something to the effect of, I'm going to say people, not just like it was men, but people live a life of quiet desperation. I didn't want to be one of those people either. And I chose not to be, and I chose to believe in the unbelievable and the impossible. And I lived that for quite a while. This morning, it was kind of interesting. I've thought about this for a variety of times. That whole thing about in 30 years I'll be dead. And again, back then it was, hey, Leslie, how you doing? Back then it was, like I said, 45 doubled, it was 90. What's interesting is that's probably really accurate right now. At best, probably, because, I'm going to be 62 here, like in a month. So in 30 years, I mean, I'll be 92. So if I'm still around, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of poignant that blog post I did now, 16 years ago, and now it is very accurate in 30 years, and that sounds like forever. But it also seems like yesterday that I wrote that blog post, and that was 17 years ago. Nickelback, I like them. They have a song that's "If Today Was Your Last Day," and one of the lines is, it's never too late to shoot for the stars, right? And Dear Diary, because that's who I'm speaking to, is, believe me, it's not always easy to do that. But, there's probably most of you listening to that are a lot younger than I am. And in 30 years, you won't be. Although, of course, as we know, right, it can be just like that. But I'm continuing to shoot for the stars. Even though, probably, mathematically, in 30 years, I'll probably be done. Maybe earlier than that, we don't know. But in 30 years, I'll be done. So, it really is never too late to shoot for the stars. I really like that line. Bon Jovi, if you're just playing, it's my life. One of the lines is, I want to live my life while I'm alive. And sometimes I wonder how many people are doing that. How many people are living their life while they're alive? How many people are living that cycle of quiet desperation, right? Live your life while you're alive. And it's never too late to shoot for the stars. And that's it. Ask the Wizard. Unplugged.